chapter 18, and finally we're getting to a king that we can really enjoy reading about, which is Hezekiah. Hezekiah is a righteous king, and his father wasn't. He is the son of Ahaz, and we read about Ahaz. He did everything pretty bad, but Hezekiah did not. And we'll read that. Now it came to pass in the third year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel. Remember, Hoshea was the last of the kings of Israel, and he did pretty rotten things. That Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign, and 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Abi, and Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to that all that David his father did. At least the righteous things. And he removed the high places, and brake the images, and cut down the groves, and brake to pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. For in those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and called it Nehushtan. And he called it Nehushtan, which basically means brass, something made of brass. So just to unpack that a little bit, there is in the right-hand corner one of those gospel helps, but I'm just going to describe it in my own words, which is the fact that if you look at it, it says, for in those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it. The whole point was to point to Christ. And they lost that point. They lost and started to worship the serpent. In our day, we may put too much value on things that should point us to Christ, but we're looking at them as their own things. We should be looking, for instance, at the temple, and going to the temple and things to worship the Lord. But if we decide that the temple is in its own right something too great, think about the early temples in this dispensation, the Nauvoo temple and the Kirtland temple. They were built, and they're built to draw us closer to God. But when the saints could not worship there anymore and they were taken away, that purpose was taken away because it wasn't pointing people to God. So it's important to put things in the right perspective. We can't say, oh, no, that temple is more important than anything else. Rather, we think of it as the way that we can grow closer to our God. I want to be careful here, because the temple is such a spiritual and wonderful thing in our lives, and we should be able to go there and feel that spirit so strongly. But that's what it's there for. It's not to be worshipped or seen in any light than the house of God, not God, a God in itself or anything like that. And what they've done is they've taken something that was very special to everybody, the brazen serpent that Moses held up, and it healed people that looked upon it. as if it had its own power, but it wasn't its own power. It was God's power through it. So he's taken that down so that people can't worship something like that. He's taken anything like that so they point to God, not to any false god in any way. And he trusted in the Lord God of Israel, so that after him there was none like him among all the kings of Judah, nor any were before him. This guy is special. And I love this line, for he clave to the Lord and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments, which the Lord commanded Moses. That we have so many scriptures that says, cleave unto the Lord in all that you do. In fact, maybe I'll just click on this really quick. The side note, we've got two right here, but cleave unto the Lord your God as ye have done unto this day. That was given in Joshua when they first came into the thing. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, I beseech you in the words of soberness that ye should repent and come with full purpose of heart, and cleave unto God as he cleaveth unto you. And while his arm of mercy is extended towards you in the light of the day, harden not your hearts. So he was one of those people that did this, and but kept his commandments which the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord was with him, and he prospered whithersoever he went forth, and he rebelled against the king of Assyria, and served him not. Again, why did he rebel against the king of Assyria? Well, the fact that he's willing not to give up any possessions or anything like that. There is a thing in the right-hand corner. Why did Hezekiah rebel against Assyria? As part of the treaty King Ahaz established with King of Assyria, the kingdom of Judah was subservient to Assyria and required to pay a large annual tribute. This arrangement continued through the reign of Hezekiah until around 705 BC, when Hezekiah rebelled against Assyria following the death of their king. A few years after Judah's revolt, the new Assyrian king Sennacherib mobilized a huge army to invade the kingdom of Judah. The Assyrians conquered many cities of Judah on their way to attacking Jerusalem, the capital kingdom of Judah. Some of the cities of Judah conquered by Assyria in their attempt to destroy. Jerusalem. See Isaiah, and we'll get to that. That's also in one of the ones in the second Nephi, where it tells how they come down towards Jerusalem. And he smote the Philistines even unto Gaza and the borders thereof, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And it came to pass the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hoshea, the son of Elah, king of Israel, that Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against Samaria and besieged it. And at the end of the 3 years they took it, even in the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Israel. Samaria was taken, and the king of Assyria did carry away Israel and unto Assyria, and put them in Hala and harbor by the river of Goshen, and in the cities of Medes. because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord their God, but transgressed his covenant and all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded, and would not hear them, nor do them. So this is saying the northern tribes are no more, and this is because they obeyed not, they transgressed the laws, and they would not hear or do what the Lord commanded. Now in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the fenced cities of Judah and took them. And Hezekiah the king of Judah sent to the king Assyria to Lachish, saying, I have offended, return from me, that which puttest on me will I bear. And the king of Assyria appointed Hezekiah king of Judah 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold. And Hezekiah gave him the silver that was found in the house of the Lord and in the treasures of the king's house. This is him saying, okay, here, just take this and leave us alone. Hezekiah, I don't know if he's just trying to protect his people at this point, but I don't know that he's not obeying the Lord here by doing this, though it seems he's taking it from the house of the Lord, which is, as I was saying about the Kirtland Temple and Nauvoo Temple at the time, once its purpose is not being fulfilled, it has no value. And I have a feeling at this time it has no value. Because Hezekiah is he's not perfect, so this could just have backfired, but I have a feeling he knew what he was doing, and he cut off the gold from the doors of the temple of the Lord and the pillars which Hezekiah king of Judah had overlaid, and gave it to the king of Assyria. So he was actually doing things to improve the temple. And king of Assyria sent Tartan and Rebus and Rabashakeh and Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host against Jerusalem. And they went up and came to Jerusalem. And when they were come up, they stood by the conduit. It's kind of like a ditch. Yeah, there we go. Or aqueduct of the upper pool, which is in the highway of the fuller's field. And when they called to the king, there came out to them Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Jonah the son of Asaph the recorder. So these people come out, they've got a scribe and recorder. They're going to listen to what they have to say. And Rabashakeh said unto them, Speak ye now to Hezekiah, thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence is this wherein thou trustest? This is dialogue. First of all, dialogue that you could almost hear Satan saying, but also dialogue you can hear nowadays when people talk about, why do you believe in God? You know, what does he do? And all this other stuff. You can hear them in this voice. Now listen to it and see if you can hear people saying these things to you, or through things like the amount of anti-religion rhetoric that comes out of movies and things like that, even ones that are like, oh, we're not. Listen closely and you'd hear this. Thou sayest, but they are vain words. I have counseled and strength for the I have counsel and strength for the war. Now on whom dost thou trust, that thou rebellest against me? Behold, thou trustest upon the staff of the bruised reed upon Egypt. Basically saying, you've gone to Egypt for protection, but they're like a bruised reed. They can't really do much. They are not worth. They can't really help you out like you think they can. And actually, Assyria do conquer Egypt as well at one point, on which if man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, so is the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, unto all that trust him, saying, don't try to trust him. That's actually probably good advice. But if ye say unto me, we trust the Lord our God, is not that he whose high places and altars Hezekiah hath taken away, and said to Judah and Jerusalem, ye shall worship before this altar in Jerusalem? He's kind of trying to say, well, isn't he the one that Hezekiah's taken the altars away, so why would he help you guys out? If he is there, then why, if Hezekiah's taken all these things away, then why would he do that? But he's making the wrong assumption here, because Hezekiah took the false gods away, which pleased the Lord. Now, therefore, I pray, give pledges to my lord, king of Assyria, and I will deliver thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able on thy part to set riders upon them. Now he's saying, you know what? We'll be very generous if you pay things. You kind of picture the bully. Give me your lunch money and we'll make sure you're not hurt, sort of thing. Now then, wilt thou turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put thy trust in Egypt for chariots and horsemen? He's saying, wouldn't ours be better? Wouldn't it be better to be part of us than to rely on Egypt for horsemen and to protect you? And I now come up without the Lord against this place to destroy it. The Lord said to me, go up against this land and destroy it. Now he's just on lying, blasphemy. He's saying, oh, look, I can prophesy. Look, watch. Go up and destroy this land. Let's see. I bet I'll destroy it. They've already destroyed most of the land, so you cannot see that. Then said Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and Shebna, and Jonah, and Rabshakeh, speak, I pray thee, to thy servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and talk with us and talk not with us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. They're kind of saying, shh, just be quiet. People can hear you. You don't need to, we just need to get the message to our king, And he's just like, nah, that's not going to happen. Rab Shakna, but Rab Shakna says, right, I put an N in there. Rab Shaka said unto them, hath my master sent me to thy master and to thee to speak these words? Hath he not sent me to men which sit on the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and spake, saying, hear the word of the great king, the king of Assyria. Now he's putting his king above anything else, the great king. And he's doing it in the Jews' language, so that he's doing psychological warfare here. And thus saith the king, let not Hezekiah deceive you. Notice what he says. Look at the things these are the things he's trying to make people not trust Hezekiah. At the same time, he is trying to break down their belief in God. So first of all, he's saying, let not Hezekiah deceive you. Hezekiah hasn't deceived them, but he wants them to think he has. For he shall not be able to deliver you out of his hand. And of course he believes it too. He believes he won't be able to deliver him. We destroyed the whole northern kingdom. They weren't able to do anything. Of course they weren't following the true God, but that, they don't think about it that way. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord. Now he's trying to say, don't trust the Lord's servant, and don't trust the Lord himself. The Lord will surely deliver us, and the city shall not be delivered unto the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah. Don't even listen to him. This really, and I don't know if you know how this would feel. They're surrounded. They actually have all of the land for, basically miles and miles around. There's nowhere anybody can go. They are trapped. And so he's just saying, don't even listen to Hezekiah. If he can see this out in everybody's mind, then Hezekiah has no chance. Then he says, make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat ye every man his own vine, and every one his one of his fig tree, and drink every one the waters of his cistern. He's saying, look, we're going to make it so much better for you. We'll give you all this stuff if you follow the king of Syria. In fact, we'll give you all of this, as if that's how it works every time Assyria comes in to overtake somewhat the land where they scatter the people. But he is promising them, and if it happens, if they turn against Hezekiah, that's it. Until I come and take you away to the land like your own. Notice he just kind of throws that in, until I come and take you away to a land of your own. You can have all this wonderful stuff, but then I might take you away and scatter you. A land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards, and a land of olive and honey, that ye may live and not die. And hearken not to Hezekiah when he persuadeth you, saying, the Lord will deliver us. He's saying, don't trust that. And we have that same message today so often. Oh, don't trust in the Lord. You know, we know better nowadays. We should do better nowadays. We have AI nowadays. We can trust in what we see, and not something that we can't see. Hath any of the gods of the nations delivered all his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Now this is another type of attack that you see so often. I've seen it in countless shows and movies where the storyline is like, well, it's not as much gods as it is seeing how taking the way that people worship, and people who worship false gods or false things will often, then people will say, well, look, they didn't have their answers answered by their God. So that means all people who worship God are false. I see it so often where they just kind of throw this thing out like, oh, it's just false because it's false for them, so it's false for everybody else. Where are the gods of Hamath, of Arpad, Arpad? Where are the gods of Sephram and Hanan Eva? Have they delivered Samaria out of mine hand? Like, that's not the gods we worship. In fact, the God we worship has told us don't worship those gods because they don't exist. And if they don't exist, they're not going to be protecting the people. And so that was easy stuff. Who are they among all the gods of the countries that have delivered their country out of mine hand, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? Again, just placing the wrong thing. You know, the way I look at it with these things, and the same, I was thinking about, it's like saying, oh, well, that teddy bear is my mother. Okay, actually, my mother didn't make me dinner, didn't do anything for me. That means all mothers are wrong. Unless you have your real mother there who does make you dinner and does care and love for you and talks with you. You can't say, oh, that teddy bear is the mother, therefore all mothers are like a teddy bear. Does that make sense? I hope it does, in the sense that it blows my mind how people do not trust the Lord, but it's because they're not trusting. They're listening to somebody who does not know what they're talking about. But the people held their peace. I thought, oh no, they held their peace. Is that because they're questioning this thing? No, it's because they're following their king. And they answered him not a word, for the king's commandment was saying, answer him not. Then Eliakim, the son of Hezekiah, which was over the household, and Shebna, the scribe, and Jonah, the son of Ashaph, the recorder, to Hezekiah, and their clothes rent, and told him the words of Rabshakeh. So it's not very pleasant what he said. But let's see what happens when Hezekiah hears this, and we'll do that next chapter.